Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschachadeshatari Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hello everybody. How are you? Hare Krishna. Today we are celebrating a couple of verses just to kind of get us in the mood of thinking about and discussing the pastimes of Lord Nityananda. So, I worship Lord Nityananda, the limitless root of the tree of devotional service. As he walks with the grace of a majestic elephant, his pure splendid beauty shines like the full autumn moon. Though he himself is the absolute truth, he is maddened with pure love for Lord Hari. He smiles as he rolls his eyes in apparent intoxication. He carries a stick in his hand, the mood of a cowherd boy, and he breaks the power of the age of Kali. I worship Lord Nityananda, the limitless root of the tree of devotional service. He is the abode of the mellows of devotional service, and no one can be compared to him. He is the be-all and end-all of his devotees, and the husband of Vasudha and Janava, to whom he is more dear than life itself. Because he is always maddened with pure love for Krishna, the foolish non-devotees cannot understand that he is the supreme personality of Godhead. I worship Lord Nityananda, the limitless root of the tree of devotional service. He is very dear to the son of Sachi Devi and is worshipped by the entire universe. Out of his great mercy, he chants the holy name of Lord Hari, thus rescuing the souls drowning in the age of Kali and crushing the pride of the ocean of repeated birth and death. I worship Lord Nityananda, the limitless root of the tree of devotional service. He said to Lord Chaitanya, "O brother, the people are all becoming infected by the sins of Kali Yuga. How will they atone for these sins? Please give them a way to easily approach you." So that's just a couple of verses glorifying Lord Nityananda. It's a very nice prayer actually, describing his features and his maddened love for Lord Hari or Lord Chaitanya. And he's in the mood of a cowherd boy. And Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur is worshipping him, glorifying him. So it kind of gives us an idea of how maybe we should think about Lord Nityananda, especially on this particular day. To be honest, I didn't know much about Lord Nityananda, at least not in depth, so I was kind of reading up on him in the last while, just to kind of give me some clarity on his pastime. So Lord Nityananda, if anyone doesn't know Lord Nityananda he is left of the center figure. Lord Chaitanya is in the middle, in saffron color, and Lord Nityananda is in blue. And I think I remember reading it somewhere that the reason he wears blue, or Balaram wears blue too, is that it is the color of Krishna. So he loves Krishna so much that he wants to wear blue as well. He is an incarnation of Lord Balaram, so he is. And he appeared in the village. Does anyone actually know where he appeared? Does anyone know? Ekachakra, yes. In the district of Radhadesh. To be honest with you, I don't know much about India or where exactly that is, but it sounds like a nice place. And from that day, when he appeared on the earth, the whole of Radhadesh became very auspicious. So it did. So all disease, any difficulties, any mental problems, basically all the difficulties that we kind of go through today was completely gone from that area. He was born, or he appeared to his father, who was Hadai Pandit, who was a very compassionate Brahmin, and his mother, Padmavati Devi, who was a very chaste and exalted devotee. And, excuse me, he appeared on an very auspicious day, the 13th day of the waxing moon, in the month of Magha, or January, February. Everyone who saw him, their hearts become so enlivened and filled with joy just by looking at him. His beautiful face, his beautiful form. They became enlivened. And he kind of gave a lot of happiness to the people of Ekachakra. He spent much of his childhood playing with his friends. And none of them knew his identity, who he really was, because he had this illusory energy around him, so no one could so he would be in that mood of a boy and play with them. And they spent much of their time enacting the pastimes of Lord Krishna. So they would go out on a daily basis, and they'd obviously choose which pastime they were going to do. So, there's so many pastimes. You read Krishna book. There's, Krishna, the appearance of Lord Krishna, Vasudeva, and Devaki in Kamsa's prison. So they dress up as Vasudeva, Kamsa, Putana, Ravan and Rama. They'd also do those leelas. Hanuman, and so many, and become so absorbed. Nityananda would become so absorbed, he'd actually practically take on the mood of whatever character he was playing. And he'd often like to play Krishna in the pastimes. So he would take on these roles and really absorb and imbibe the mood of Krishna, or whatever role he was playing. He'd often play his own himself, you might say. So in the role of Lakshman. And Lakshman, anyone know?
Ramji's brother.
Sorry?
Ram's brother.
Ram's brother. So once on one bit fine day, they were enacting this pastime of Lord Ram, and Nityananda was playing the part of Lakshman, and they happened to come upon Ravan. And Ravan and Lakshman, they fought each other before Ravan and Ram were going to fight. But unfortunately, Lakshman gets hit by an arrow. If anyone remembers the Leela, he gets hit by an arrow and he falls unconscious. And he's, out for the count for a long period of time. And Nityananda too, even though he was hit with a flower, just to because he was so absorbed in this Leela, he too fell unconscious. So he did. And all the boys were scurrying over to try and wake him up, but they couldn't. He was just deep in that mood, in that meditation on being Lakshman. They had tried so much in vain, and they were all getting so worried, and they're getting in so much anxiety. And even his parents came out to see what was happening, and they couldn't figure. He just fallen unconscious and couldn't wake up. So one boy just happened to remember that he was Hanuman, and of course the Leela goes that Hanuman has to go and get the medicine. So something happened to Ram or Balaram, he was there to go, and he had to go fetch the medicine. So this boy went away, and he had to go and fetch the medicine, a particular type of herbs that would help in the healing of Nityananda. And upon his return, he held the medicine up to Nityananda's nose, and it was only then to revive Lord Nityananda. So just kind of I suppose we try to enact some of the pastimes of Lord Krishna or Ram or all these, and it's kind of, when you hear about it and you read about it, they're kind of, I often put on Chaitanya Bhagavat or Chaitanya Charitamrita, or you have the audiobooks of all these leelas, so you do. And they're very nice. They're very nice to kind of listen to when you're like lying in your bed and all the lights are out. I usually listen going to sleep. So it's quite nice, and you can kind of, if you're not getting distracted by too many things going on around you, you can kind of absorb your mind in just hearing. And you can also almost picture, what's happening as the story unfolds. And it's quite nice. I always find it, I quite like just laying there in bed or sitting or whatever I'm doing, just to listen to these stories, and it kind of gives you, it's almost as if I find that you're being transported into that world. So you do. So you are, and it's quite pleasing to the heart and pleasing to the mind to just listen to them. What to speak of, actually being there or enacting them on stage or something like that. So all the people, all his friends, all his family members, and all the people of Ekachakra who would watch these daily enactments of Krishna Leela or Ram Leela or whatever Leela, they were astonished. They were astonished to see that the wonders of this little boy, Nityananda. They couldn't really figure out how on earth he knew everything about Krishna and everything about Balaram or Lord Ram or Lakshman, and everything that they did, everything that they spoke. He knew the pastimes so vividly, so he did. But he was just such a young boy, and he probably hadn't, read them or learned them. And of course, who was he? He was Lord Balaram, so he had already been in these pastimes. And he could remember everything, so he could. Am I too loud? No? Okay. So, as Nityananda, he got a bit older. So he did. As we all do. And but he was still quite young, and he decided that one day he wanted to leave home. He just wanted to go away and kind of do his own thing. Much to the despair and the fear of his parents. They feared the separation. They adored this personality. They loved him so much that they didn't want to be separated from him. I'm sure anyways who are parents, they kind of have some idea of what this is like, to be in separation, or if you have a particular loved one, what it's like to be in separation. And his parents didn't like the idea of him going away at such a young age. So they tried everything to kind of keep him within their grasp and within their sights. They would take him with them to different places, so they wouldn't let him be by himself. Or if they were going anywhere, they'd just have a quick look back to make sure he hadn't gone and run away, or to make sure he was still there. They just wouldn't let him out of their sight. But to their misfortune, maybe, one day a Sanyasi came along to the Ekachakra, a very exalted Sanyasi, and had I Pandit invited him into his home, and he fed him, he looked after him, he looked after his needs, took care of him in many different ways. And in the evening they discussed the topics of Krishna. So he was very pleased by this, you know. But something happened that he didn't expect. The Sanyasi, the next day before he was leaving, he had one request for Hadai Pandit. He wanted to bring Lord Nityananda on pilgrimage with him. He said he would look after him in every way that he could. He wanted to take him on pilgrimage. He wanted someone to go with him, you might say. You know, and obviously he saw Lord Nityananda as a great personality. So Hadai Pandit was, as you can think, he felt great distress. He couldn't believe what the Sanyasi was asking him. His favourite son, he wanted his favourite son to go with him, and he was kind of perplexed in many ways. But one was, he couldn't deny the Sanyasi's request. He knew that it would have been a great honour for him to give his son to such an exalted sannyasi or devotee. Would have been a great boon on pilgrimage and for him to teach him. And at the same time, he didn't really want to give up his son. He was so attached to his son. He loved his son so dearly, he didn't want to give him up. So he was kind of, what do I do? What do I do? So he talked to his wife about it. And eventually he came to the conclusion that he should. And so Ananda went off on pilgrimage with the sannyasi, much to the despair of and unhappiness of his parents and basically all his friends and all the people of Ekachakra who were just in shock basically. But Nityananda felt differently. He was happy. He was like, yes, I'm going off. I'm going off on pilgrimage. And so this is basically how Nityananda left home. And so he wandered to many of the holy places. Vakeshwar, Gaya, Prayag, Mathura, Vrindavan, Govardhan. He visited many of the holy rivers, bathed in the waters. He also he stayed in seclusion in Badarik Ashram. And he visited the ashram of Srila Vyasadeva, who saw him as Balaram. So he did. So they offered each other their respects and spent some time together before he continued on his journey. Does anyone know who Srila Vyasadeva is? Any takers? Huh? Can't hear.
I said like the person who wrote Mahabharata.
He wrote Mahabharata, yes. And what else? Srimad Bhagavatam. And? There's one other book. Vedanta Sutras. Well, one book we read most here. Bhagavad Gita, yes. So, Lord Chaitanya, he, on his pilgrimage, he also visited one particular monastery where many, many rishis were kind of sitting. And he was asking a question to them, but he didn't get an answer for some reason. He got no answer from them. They were just kind of, happily just being there in his company, looking in awe and reverence at him. And he kind of got a bit peed off with him, you know, because he was looking for an answer. So he kind of got a bit angry, and he just started kicking him in the head.